Kent Police is the territorial police force responsible for policing the 1,433 square miles, 3,710 square kilometers, and approximately 1.8 million inhabitants of Kent, a county in the southeast of England. History. On January 14, 1857, a 222-strong Kent County Constabulary was formed under Chief Constable John Henry Hay Ruxton. The first headquarters was at Wren's Cross, Stone Street, Maidstone, and was rented for use by the police until November 23, 1860, when the force purchased it for £1,200. 3. It was responsible for policing those parts of the county not already under the jurisdiction of local borough police forces. In 1860, the initial uniform of a frock coat and a high hat was replaced by a long uniform tunic and shako hat, and constables were issued with a rattle and truncheon. In 1885, whistles were introduced. In 1897, the recognizable custodian helmet was introduced. In 1974, the familiar coxcomb helmet replaced the rose-top helmet with a new helmet plate. On April 1, 1889, Kent County Constabulary absorbed the borough police forces of Deal, Hythe, Faversham, Sandwich, and Tenterden, 5 of the 14 local police forces that then policed boroughs within the county of Kent. The remaining 9 were absorbed on April 1, 1943, these being the borough forces of Dover, Folkestone, Gravesend, Maidstone, Margate, Ramsgate, and Tunbridge Wells, together with the Canterbury City Police, and the Rochester City Police. Ruxton retired on August 14, 1894 and died on April 20, 1897. Kent County Constabulary purchased 20 bicycles in 1896, a number which rose to 129 by 1904. Telephones were given to village police constables in 1925, and by 1931, 29 motorcycles had been introduced, along with 1 police car. The constabulary employed horses until 1943, when the last was retired. In 1965, the force had an establishment of 1,988 attested constables and an actual strength of 1,766, making it the 3rd largest county force in Great Britain. Kent County Constabulary was the last British force to keep the word county in its official title. It changed its name to Kent Police in 2002. The main argument for the change was that the large number of visitors coming through the Channel Tunnel and the ports would understand the word police more readily than constabulary. Kent Police was the first force in the United Kingdom to be led by a black chief constable, Michael Fuller QPM, citation needed, who held the role from 2004 to 2010. Since 1940, Kent Police HQ has been located at Sutton Road, Maidstone. The force announced in 2020 that the HQ was no longer providing value for money and would be sold. The chief officer team will relocate to North Kent Police Station. Kent Police College is located on Coverdale Avenue, Maidstone. Kent Police Museum is located in Faversham Police Station. After years of personnel cuts announced in 2010 and starting in 2011, that saw officer numbers fall from a peak of almost 3,800 in 2010 to under 3,200 by 2016, it was announced in March 2018 that Kent Police would launch the largest recruitment campaign in its history, aiming to recruit over 200 more officers over the next 1 to 2 years. This was made possible due to an increase in the tax funding the police receive from county residents. The campaign has so far been successful, with dozens of new constables passing out in 2018, with dozens more undergoing training into 2019. Once completed, the campaign should bolster the number of sworn constables in Kent to over 3,400. It was further announced in January 2019 that the PCC Matthew Scott was proposing another tax increase in the 2019-20 period in the amount of money Kent Police receive from county residents in order to recruit a further 180 officers by 2020. If this proposal is approved and additional officers are recruited, this would take the total number of sworn officers in Kent to upwards of 3,600 by 2020. This tax increase for 180 additional officers was approved in February 2019 and as of early 2020 have since all been recruited into the force, bringing the total number of sworn officers to just over 3,600. As part of the national campaign announced by the government in late 2019 to recruit 20,000 more police officers across all of the 43 police forces in England and Wales by early 2023, it was announced that Kent would receive government funding to recruit 147 officers in the first wave of 6,000 in 2020, with the other 14,000 expected in 2021 and 2022. Additional funding for 34 more officers was also underwritten by the Police Crime Commissioner, bringing the total number of extra funded officers in 2020 to 181. When all recruited, these additional officers